County just about an hour and a half ago. As these cells continue through, they will have the potential to create those brief spin-up tornadoes. So a couple of different threats on the board. The brief spin-up tornado risk. We also have the risk of flooding heading into the rest of tonight and tomorrow morning. And then more rain is in the forecast, even as Elsa moves away from us by tomorrow. We'll have much more on this forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Today, the highest court in Georgia is weighing in on the Columbia County judicial split. The Georgia Supreme Court confirms the Columbia County split from the Augusta Judicial Circuit will not happen for now. The split was supposed to happen July 1st. It didn't because of a pending lawsuit. But the Supreme Court justices put a definite pause on the split to, quote, ensure the stability of the justice system, but say this needs to be handled swiftly. The next hearing is July 12th. 2 men are charged with beating someone to death, then burning the body and burying it. Doc Anderson and Austin Martin face murder charges in this case. They, along with another woman, face kidnapping charges. And there are a lot of questions tonight over whether this murder case is connected to the kidnapping case, a complicated story. Wrdw got documents today that shed some light on what police are working with.
Well, there's many questions as to what happened to Jazz Allison when he was kidnapped from the house right behind me. Investigators are working to still answer those questions. The community and neighbors here say that it's shocking to see this happen in their own backyard.
Like the community, I was completely devastated. This is a very heinous crime.
On June 24th, police reports say Jazz Allison was taken by gunpoint from his home on Smallridge Street, taken away in a white SUV. Later, deputies say they found that same SUV at a gas station across town, off of Edgefield Highway. That's when Dakir Anderson, Austin Martin, and Charlotte Hamilton were charged with suspicion of involvement in the kidnapping.
It raised a concern that we really need to establish a sense of urgency and finally getting to the end of senseless crime in the CSRA.
But on Tuesday last week, the coroner's office responded less than a half a mile down the road from the gas station at the 500 block of Harbor Drive, where they found a buried body. The coroner confirms it is Jazz Allison. Arrest warrants show Austin Martin and Dakir Anderson are charged with killing an unnamed person by repeatedly beating him in the face with their hands, feet, and a firearm before burning his body and burying it. Investigators have not said if Martin and Anderson are charged with Allison's murder. Community leaders say things like this won't happen if they work on early prevention.
Putting more effort into this violent prevention so that this crime doesn't happen, that's the real solution, and that's what's going to establish a safe community at the end of the day.
The Aiken County Sheriff's Office says they believe the two charged are associated with the gang, but couldn't say if it was connected.
And so the hope is that we use this dark incident to light the way for a brighter future as it comes to establishing safe communities and better policing and overall safe work CSRA.
We did reach out to one of Allison's family members, and they did say that they do not want to comment at this time. Reporting in Aiken, Wrdw on your side.
Also tonight, right now, you were supposed to be able to weigh in on plans to redraw this, but Tropical Storm Elsa has canceled that meeting tonight. These are district lines, colored lines that have potential to impact every person in Georgia, from who represents you at the state and local level down to who represents you on the school board. Another wrench in redistricting talks, the pandemic. 2020 census data is crucial, but those numbers have been delayed in getting those numbers. From cyber jobs to new manufacturing plants, the area has changed a lot in 10 years. Celeste Springer live for us at the Savannah Rapids Pavilion, where this meeting was supposed to be happening right now. But walk us through why all this is so important, Celeste.
Well, they were supposed to be inside here. Democrats, Republicans, nonpartisan groups, you name it. But now that meeting's canceled. This door is locked. And even while I've been out here, people have been coming up to me who didn't get that memo. But lawmakers tell me that meetings like this create transparency and accountability in our redistricting process.
Augusta was supposed to be one of several stops across the state. People in Dalton and Cumming already made their voices heard.
The public can put their input in. So what we want the public to do is say one of the things we want to do is stay together as a community.
Every 10 years, lawmakers have to redraw district lines across the state to ensure equal representation. Ideally, districts are equal in population size, and the people in each district share similar ideals.
And whether that interest is necessarily race or necessarily class or just different schools that people go to, that's what you're trying to keep all that together, because those persons have something in common. So obviously you want them to want a representative that kind of represents those areas.
But the process can be used to gerrymander, which is a way to get a certain party voted into office in each district. That's why public meetings like the one we'll hopefully get rescheduled here are so important. When you come up to speak, your thoughts are documented.
We'll say that the people of Augusta or people of Columbia County, they've expressed their interest how they want these lines to be drawn. Now, they may not know the particulars of it, but they've expressed their interest. So how did you then, as an elected official, draw a line that went all over the place when you had these meetings and they specifically said, this is what I wanted to do?
Lawmakers tell us they're hopeful our chance to speak will come back around.
From there, we try to hopefully draw lines that properly represent Georgia.
And with any luck, lines that represent you and your ideals, too.
And I know we're always hearing it. Call your lawmakers, email your lawmakers. Well, the committee for the redistricting process is really slammed right now, so they've actually created an online forum for you to fill out to streamline that process. We'll have the link if you want to make your voice heard on our website, wrdw.com.
And it is important now more than ever. Thanks, Celeste, for the live update there. Also this evening, a man arrested after multiple women say he harassed them on the UG Creek trails in Grovetown. Keandrell Lanham, charged with distributing obscene material. Deputies say 2 women filed police reports saying they'd been stopped by a man on the trail who showed them explicit pictures. More women posting online saying the same thing happened to them, but deputies say no one else has filed a report. Deputies are not saying how they were able to identify Lanham as that suspect.
Remember these famous Augusta spots in Lego form? Well, we're about to meet the man who turned 20,000 Lego bricks into a masterpiece.
And Tropical Storm Elsa is producing tornadoes currently around the Georgia coastline. That tornado threat heading our way, and a flood threat as well overnight. Lots to talk about next. Weekend, and those pop-up summer storms looking likely most afternoons.
20,000. That is how many Lego bricks it took to build the Augusta Canal. We first showed you some local Lego masterpieces last week.
Senator Halliburton spoke with the man behind this masterpiece.
5 months. That's how long it took Mark Laura to build both the Augusta Canal and the Old Cotton Exchange. The process is something he's familiar with.
I'm a structural engineer, so I enjoy designing buildings, and this is just a way to be able to express that.
He says he feels it's a responsibility to inspire younger generations to be future designers and engineers.
I've been very happy and pleased with the response that the children have had whenever I've displayed works like this.
He used a computer program to design the historic structures and made sure he paid attention to small details.
As you can tell, I cut the canal head gates in half so you can see the insides, you know, and of course as an engineer you have to show the gears and the mechanisms and everything, and so the gates actually go up and down. You can see it go up and down like that, that allow the water to go through.
The Augusta Museum of History held this year's Great Building Showdown, Building History Brick by Brick event. 5 historic structures were created, and they hope to double that next year.
There are other ways you can talk about history and get people involved in history, and that's what we're about too. We want to preserve history, but we also want to be able to share it with the world.
Laura says throughout his years of building Lego, he's learned that it's something anyone can relate to, no matter the age or ability.
There are a great amount of interest all across, from children to adults to others, for using this as a medium of expression.
Reporting in Augusta, Zana Halliburton, on your side.
Just amazing
It is
work.
amazing. It really is. I just do not have the patience.
Leave it to a structural engineer to pull off something like that.
Yeah, pretty cool. But if you are interested in checking out all the Lego creations, they're on display at the Augusta Museum of History until July 11th.
A little bit of history on display in
Yeah.
Lego form.
Yeah, I
We love
may
that.
leave my 3-year-old away from that. Do not touch this exhibit.
Right.
Coming up in sports,